think it is recording now. Excellent. I'm going to reshare my screen. Okay, great. So an overview of what we will be going over today in our summer travel and study abroad opportunities session. So first, I'm going to start off by going over the different types of summer travel opportunities and School of Art scholarships that are available. Then we'll hear from Rome Summer 2025 instructors Mark Mitchell and Bree McMahon, a bit about their plans for Rome. Then we will hear from Janine Sitzma and Adam Posnack about Ghana, the Ghana Summer 2025 intercession course. And then lastly, we'll hear from Study Abroad Office about Study Abroad Office scholarships with Katie Sabo, who is our Fulbright College representative with the Study Abroad Office. Okay, so first, different types of summer travel opportunities. As you may know, there are lots of different options for you to continue to be engaged with your studies over the summer. And we offer funding opportunities for a variety of additional learning opportunities over the summer. That could include, you could study abroad, either with a trip that is taught by School of Art faculty, such as to go to Rome or Ghana. Or you can also, if there's literally anywhere else in the world that you want to study, we can connect you with the University of Arkansas Study Abroad Office, and they can help you learn about other program options that are out there for you to study with over the summer. Or if you find another opportunity abroad, we can also work with you to get that registered with the Study Abroad Office, and then go from there. Also, you can have your own self-initiated travel. So if there is a particular residency or internship or research trip that you'd like to do to further your work, you can put together a proposal to propose for funding to attend one of those options. And that can be either domestically or internationally. I'll share some examples of what past students have proposed for their self-initiated travel just like a couple years ago and last summer. Let's see. So examples of self-initiated travel for undergraduate students, some examples of past self-initiated travel that they have shared, that they have done in the past. One student did a 10-week Paramount production internship program in Los Angeles. Another undergraduate student did a 6-week residency at the Yale Norfolk School of Art. Several other students over the years have done a 6-week intense outdoor painting workshop out at Mount Gretna. Some examples for graduate students include, in the past, students have done a 10-day workshop at the Penland School of Craft. Another student did a 30-day washi papermaking residency in Japan. And another student did a 9-week program at the Skowhegan School of Painting and Sculpture in Maine. So we've also, on our School of Art slide room application, where our current summer travel opportunity scholarship application is located, we also have examples of other programs that you could look into, but pretty much if you find something that you're interested in, you can submit an overview of what you would like to do, how that benefits your education through the university, and add a budget to that. That includes all of your travel. If you need to travel out of the state, you can also put information about like if you need to rent an apartment or what have you, you can include that as well. Okay, let's see. So as I mentioned, that application for summer travel opportunities is currently live on the School of Art Slide Room website. If you would like, you can scan the QR code that's on the screen. I will also be sending out a copy of this application with a link to sorry, I'll also be sending out a copy of this presentation with a link to that application after later on this week, where you can access the slide room application that way. So other things that are needed as a part of that application are general information. Like I mentioned, your proposal of travel, which is 500 words or less, including any dates or the location of your travel, your current resume, an anticipated budget. And side note, if you need any assistance with creating a budget, I'm happy to help with that. Just know that I have office hours in the Studio and Design Center in the main lobby every Friday from 9 a.m. until 12 p.m. So if you ever need any help creating a budget, I do love a budget. Feel free to stop by during those times and I'd be happy to help you out. And any other supporting documents. So, for instance, if you wanted to send a screenshot of a residency program, or those types of things to attach to your application to help the scholarship committee or for grad students, your program director, in order for them to help them get a more full idea of what you're proposing. That is also great to attach. Know that there is one application for both study abroad opportunities and your self-initiated travel. So later on in the next few minutes, we're going to be talking about other study abroad opportunities. Just know that the application for both that and our self-initiated travel, it's the same application. And it is due on December the 1st. So there's still some time to complete that. And if you have any questions about that application as you're working through it, feel free to either shoot me an email or stop by during my office hours on Fridays. Okay, so once after you have submitted your application, if you are awarded your what you have proposed, you'll be prompted to fill out a mandatory thank you letter for our donors if you haven't already filled out one for this academic year. Do not forget to submit your thank you letter. You will not be able to get your funding unless you submit your thank you letter. So know that that is a very important part of the scholarship approval process. And so just another side note for graduate students, throughout the academic year, you are available to apply for funding from the graduate school for research-related travel. But, and if I remember correctly, you are not available to apply for that for the summer semester. So just keep that in mind. But you can apply for the School of Art funding, or later on, Katie Sabo is going to share about additional scholarship opportunities through the Study Abroad office. Okay, so next, we are going to, well, first, let me pause and see, does anyone have any questions? Let me stop sharing my screen for a sec, just so I can see all of you. And does anyone have any questions at this point? Yeah, Janine.
I just want to know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you.
Excellent. All right, wonderful. Any other questions? Diana, I see you. Yeah.
Yes, this is Diana. So then, from what I understand, then the summer opportunities, like grad students, are disqualified for any of that funding.
You can apply for that, and we can connect with your grad program director just to confirm about if that funding is available.
Okay, so then it's just not the summer study abroad.
For summer study abroad, you would also, you can also apply for that funding via that application. And same thing, we can check in with your grad program director just to confirm if funding is available.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure thing. Other questions? Okay, great. If anything else comes up, just let me know. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, so next we've got Mark Mitchell and Bree McMahon to share information about Rome 2025. So y'all bear with me for one more second. So just one other thing I wanted to note before we check in with Bree and Mark. There will be 2 courses taught for the Rome 5-week program, and please note that you have to take both of them. They both sound wonderful, so it would be great to be able to take both of them, honestly. But there's a list of what both of those courses are. And so, Mark, if you want to unmute and share a little bit about your course, Undercurrent Overview, Historical Mosaics and Contemporary Imagery, that would be great.
Sure. Well, thank you. And thanks, everybody, for joining tonight. I guess it's really difficult to sort of talk about it. It's still in development to a certain degree. I'm thinking a lot about the way that we see contemporary images and how they might relate to mosaics. The idea of pixelization. You look at these mosaics and your eyes and your mind automatically put them together in the same way that a digital image is made up of these pixels that come together to create an image, as well as RGB and or CMYK printing. So we're going to be thinking about that. Trying to think. I don't want to steal Bree's thunder, but I can tell you some of the places that we'll go, which would be the Capitoline Museum, the Borghese Museum, the Vatican Museum, the National Museum, Maxi, a bunch of churches, Santa Maria ×3. There's Popolo, Minerva, Maggiore. Then there's a church, San Giovanni, I believe. So what we'll be doing is looking at old images, and then we'll be walking around Rome and looking at more contemporary images. You won't need any specific art making materials. You'll need a sketchbook, a camera, maybe a tablet and or a laptop. But that's pretty much it. I don't know how it's structured. Kim might have this information, or the study abroad, in terms of the days and times that we meet, but I believe we meet one day with me and then one day with Bree, or might be the mornings with me and the afternoons with Bree. I don't know, but I'm happy to answer any questions if people have them. You can find me at SDCR, so the art building on the 4th floor. My office number is 421. You can also email me, and my email is, it's right there on the screen, so I don't have to say it to you. I think that's it. I'll pass it over to Bree and let her go ahead and talk about her class.
Thanks, Mark.
Excellent. Thank you. There we go.
Oh, yeah, I made a slide because I'm a graphic designer, so I like to have a visual aid. Apologies, I'm in my car, so if you can hear my AC running, that's where I am. But yeah, like Mark said, I don't have a lot of information about the logistics of the course, but you can see here is the description of the course. So I don't know about y'all, but when I travel, I save all this stuff and then it like sits in the back of a cabinet for a really long time. And once in a while I flip through it. And over the years, I have this like giant, like, storage tub full of just things that I have collected from traveling. And I love going through it because it's very nostalgic, but I would love to have it in a more special place. So that was kind of why I was attracted to forming the course this way, and thinking about memory and how we can visualize our memories, how we can document our memories. And I thought an interesting way to approach that in Rome is through the ideas of maps and information visualization and information architecture even. So this will be my first time in Rome. So I think this will be really exciting for all of us to document our time together and our time in this place, through gathering ephemera and documenting the things we're doing, and mapping our experiences. So that's a little bit, I know that's kind of like loosey-goosey because the course is still in development. But it'll be crafty. You don't need a computer necessarily. Maybe a tablet would be helpful. But it's going to be a lot of analog making, collaging, no design experience necessary. So whether you're a design student or not, please join us. It's going to be sort of a scrappy exploration, but I think that's what's going to make it a lot of fun. And there will be just a little bit of prep work just to prepare anyone who may not have worked this way before, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And also, my email was on there. And I'm also in the Studio and Design Center. My office is on the second floor or the main floor or whatever, 233. So if you want to talk more about it, just let me know.
Excellent. Thank you both. And just to go along with what Bree and Mark have shared, if you would like to apply for funding to attend the Rome Study Abroad, when I send out this slideshow presentation, I'll have a link to the Rome Study Abroad webpage on the Study Abroad website. On that website, there's a tab that says, it's something like budget, or Katie, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it goes over the anticipated costs for the course. So you can pretty much like take a screenshot of that and submit that as your budget using that summer travel opportunity application through the School of Art on our Slide Room application portal. All right. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a sec. Any questions about Rome 2025 for Bree and Mark? And it's okay if there aren't any questions now. I know, like, for me, questions usually come up like after the meeting has ended, which is totally fine. You can, wait, Marlon. Hey, Marlon, what you got?
This is a general question about for either trip, about how long are the times that would be in the different country?
Great question, Marlon. So for Rome, it's going to be about 5 weeks. And then for Ghana, that's going to be an intercession course. So that is going to be a shorter amount of time. I believe it's around, Adam and Janine, it's around 10 days or so. Did I, please correct me.
Yeah, we're extending it a little bit this time, so I think it might
Somewhere 14 days, 15. Something.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Great question, Marlon. Other questions? I see Victoria, you've got your hand raised.
Yeah, I noticed on like the application that it says that the housing options is apartment. Do you know like the about like the location of where those housing apartments are and like how close they are to like the classrooms or wherever we'll be taking the classes at in Rome?
Katie, can you take that one?
Yeah. So for the Rome Center, we have a couple of different blocks of apartments. Most of the apartments for Rome Center students are about a 15 to 20-minute walk from the center. There are a few apartments, since the Rome program has grown so much, there are a few apartments that are a little bit further out, but in that case, they are also very close to public transportation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for that question, Victoria. I see there's a question in the chat from Datrion. Datrion asks, if just curious, if you've attended the Rome trip last year, could you apply again? So you can apply again, just know that funding preferences will be for students who have not attended yet. But yes, definitely, if you want to apply again, I say go for it. Other questions? Specifically for Rome? Okay. All right. So next up, we've got Janine and Adam to talk more about. Oh yeah, and thank you so much for joining, Bree. We've got Janine and Adam to share more information about Ghana, and I think Janine, you had some slides to share. Do you want to go ahead and share your screen?
Yes.
And Adam too. Okay.
That does not seem to be working, does it?
I don't see it yet. Let's see.
It was a big file. Maybe it's just taking a minute.
Okay.
Let's hope that's the case and I can start talking without the presentation. First of all, let me thank you for organizing this session, Kim, and thanks to everybody for joining. Adam Posnick and I are both very excited about offering the second edition of the Ghana Study Abroad. And as Adam said, a slightly more expanded version of what we did 2 years ago, or I suppose a year and a half ago now. We're looking at the dates of around May 12th through May 25th. Somewhere in there, it may be extended a little bit beyond that. We'll land in Accra, and we'll stay in Accra for a couple days. We'll then take our lovely bus up to Kumasi and stay there for another 2 to 3 days before going up to further north to Tamale and then flying back to Accra for the remaining few days. So I'm going to speak a little bit about the experience that you can expect in Accra, and then I'm going to pass it to Adam Posnick, who will talk about Kumasi and Tamale at a little bit more depth. I want to start by saying, yep.
Janine, I just want to let you know we can see your slides on the screen now, so you're good.
Thank you. I want to start by saying that Accra is an incredibly cosmopolitan city with a population of over 5 million people and a vibrant art scene that continues to become more diverse and more expansive with each year. So even since we were there a year and a half ago, there's been new galleries and creative spaces that have opened, and that of course is very exciting. As a frame of reference, I want
want to talk about what we did last year, and I have some slides as illustration. Last year, we went to several galleries within Accra. We started at the Artists Alliance Gallery with Oblade Glover, a prominent modernist Ghanaian artist. This is a gallery that was established in 1993, a massive kind of warehouse filled with all types of art. We also spent time at the Mbuke Art Foundation, a nonprofit foundation established in 2006. And there we were able to meet with Della Anya. He had an exhibition in that space and was able to share with us a little bit about his work, and where he thought of it going. We went to Gallery 1957, perhaps the most important gallery in Accra today, established in 2016. There's also been a London-based version of this gallery that opened a few years ago. And there we met with Rita Benesan, and she was able to share with us about her exhibition engaging this tradition of umbrellas, royal umbrellas, really fascinating experience. And I have a few photos of that. We also completed this exploration of the galleries, I suppose, with Ada, a very contemporary art space. And there we were able to meet with Henrika Amoafo, who was the gallery manager of that space, and learn about the exhibition that they had up there. We also went to Decon Center, a photography center with a gallery as well as an expansive library, and talked to the founder of that space. In addition to the galleries, we were able to spend time with studio and workshop visits. And we, for example, were able to go to Pajo Coffin Works, and there we were able to meet with Pajo, as well as his son, Jacob Pajo, who's become instrumental in the family business in recent years. And we were able to learn about this really wonderful tradition of coffin making. This might be somewhat familiar to some of you. We were able last semester in spring to bring Jacob Pajo to the University of Arkansas, where he held this really, I think, wonderful coffin making workshop with students. We have a few pictures of that, which concluded with this procession from the School of Art through the nearby park. We also met with Teresa Nkoma, a really fabulous young contemporary artist who I think everybody's going to be hearing about in the next few years, at her home/studio. We had a wonderful conversation with her and had this kind of really amazing practical experience where we were able to help her stitch these pieces of fiber together. In her work, she drapes these cloths that she creates with these fibers over large structures, including mbuke, excuse me. So, in 2025, we'll inevitably go to some of these places. But as I mentioned, Accra continues to grow and expand. So we're in this unique position to be able to tailor the experience to the interests of the students, as well as with consideration to what exhibitions are going to be happening. So, I'm currently working with people in Accra to get a sense of what exhibitions might be opening at that time, and what artist we might want to visit with. But we are putting a lot of these decisions on hold until we know what the composition of the study abroad is. So, for example, if we end up with a student if we end up with a few students who are very interested in fibers, but none of the gallery exhibitions that are, none of the gallery exhibitions happening at that time, for example, are focused on fiber, then we'll try to arrange to meet with a fiber artist. One highlight, I think, this year is that we're also hoping to take a day trip to meet with Kwame Akoto Bamfo, an artist that some people in the US know, in large part because of his recent monument at the National Museum of Peace and Justice in Montgomery, Alabama. He's also been doing some really innovative work at home. This is a work that I was able to see several years ago at Elmina. It's a work that's dedicated to transatlantic slave trade. He has a museum space that is a museum in itself and has these massive installations. So we're excited about the prospect to be able to offer that. Adam, I'll stop sharing my screen and turn it to you. How do I stop sharing my screen?
How do I start sharing my screen?
Let's see.
Oh, I got it. I bet you'll be able to see Adam when I end.
I know how to do it when I'm like looking at my screen when I'm, but otherwise, I don't know.
Is it the share tray? Is that how you do it? Okay.
Yeah, Adam, you should see share near the upper right corner and kind of an arrow.
While I figure this out, let me just point out the high-level psychological manipulation I've arranged to make it look like I'm in Ghana right now and entice y'all all to sign up. I ain't going to tell you how I did it, but okay. I still don't. Okay, can y'all see that?
We can see it.
Okay, I don't have a. Okay, let's see. Okay, so can y'all see that? Is it full screen?
Yes, it is full screen.
Okay, so just to give y'all kind of a little bit of geographical orientation, Accra is way down on the coast at the very bottom if you were looking at a map of Ghana. And kind of the way our trip is arranged, presently at least, is to kind of make our way almost directly in the center of the country, going from south to north. And after Accra, our first stop will be the city of Kumasi, which is quite different in character than Accra. Accra is very metropolitan, international, kind of fast-paced. And Kumasi is also fast-paced in a way. It's a major center of commerce in West Africa. And this is a photograph of what is said to be one of the biggest markets in West Africa, which is in central Kumasi. And Kumasi is also kind of the historic seat of the Ashanti nation and cultural group, which is kind of one of the major historically hegemonic groups in Ghana. And
Hey,
it's
Adam.
Yeah.
Can I pause you for just a sec? So on the screen, I see an image with a goose on it that says with slow hello behind it.
Oh, you're not seeing the market photo?
No.
Let me hang on a second. Do I use the share tray thing at the bottom? So when I do that, I see my screen, but I don't see anything that's on my desktop.
Okay. What I've done in the past, you click the share button that's to the left of the leave button, and then within that, you should be able to select your window, which window you'd like to show.
Then there might be at the bottom of the menu a browse my computer option. That's how I was able to find my presentation. I am also not familiar with Teams. I'll also note, Adam, that if you have problems, I have a more complete presentation with stuff from Kumasi as well.
I don't even see the leave button.
It might look different too if between the desktop app and Teams online.
Oh yeah,
Um,
online.
yeah. I'm not familiar with that one either.
So all y'all see is my desktop there.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay.
And Adam, if you want, you can also email me your presentation really quickly, and I can try to share my screen and go through the slides too.
I could share my presentation. I don't know if that will take a while or not, but I have the images from Kumasi.
Okay, I guess Janine, if you want to do that, maybe that's the easiest thing. The only thing is I did have images from Tamale and
I have a few. I'm probably not what you had, but I think it will, hopefully it's enough to do what you wanted it to do.
okay. Sorry about that, y'all. I don't know what's going on.
It's all good. No worries.
Yeah, no worries. I think it's going to take a minute to load again though. Perhaps more than a minute. Coming. Okay.
Okay, I can see some slides on my screen now.
Yeah. Do you want me to talk through this, Janine, or?
Yeah, you can go ahead. I hope I have everything that you want. I have slides from, the adinkra making, the kente cloth making.
Oh, I think I even had the same photo. So this city of Kumasi is, when I first went to Ghana, it was described to me kind of in contrast to Accra as like the real Ghana. And it's kind of recognized as a seat of culture, and it's very handy for us as a study abroad because within a very reasonable kind of radius of the city, you can see all of these, you can visit all of these diverse craft markets and makers and kind of historic centers. So this is a photograph of kente cloth, which is the iconic Ghana textile, and we will see them being made and see the finished product in the markets. It's kind of the emblem of Ghana in a way. And so those couple of slides were the process. And then another kind of textile variant, which is sometimes used in combination with kente, is adinkra stamping. So these are carved stamps that are made out of the kind of the rind or the shell of a calabash, and they make a traditional black dye that's very dense, and it's made from boiled down bark. So we kind of get to see the whole process. This is one of our students actually doing a little bit of hands-on. You can't really see it super well, but there's like a strip of fabric that they're stamping with the adinkra symbols. And also in the kind of greater Kumasi area, there's a lot of ceramics. In Ghana, wherever there are clay deposits, which is quite all over the place, there will be potters. And we have a pretty close relationship with the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, known as KNUST. And through them, we've gotten to know a particular group of women potters in the Kumasi area that are welcoming, and it's a great place to visit, and we can see the work being made right before our eyes. And those are the kilns. Yeah. Yeah, you can go ahead, Janine. Yeah. And then to kind of, in addition to the more, I guess, what in Ghana would be called traditional makers, there also is in Kumasi a very forward-looking residency program that focuses on performance. And I don't know if anybody saw the performance last spring. Oh, awesome, Janine, thank you. Vavana Fiace, but this is her program that she created and runs, and it's also something that I think is great for students who have an inclination towards performance to visit, because you can apply to take part in this program, and everyone lives collectively and kind of works in this really amazing integrated way, and people from all over the world attend, but it is specifically performance based, which is also kind of a unique thing.
I don't have pictures of the university, so I don't know if you want to talk about that part of it.
Yeah, I'll just say that we do visit the university campus. We have our universities have like a, what do you call it, a MOU. So, some of their faculty have visited us before, and some of their alumni have attended our grad programs. So we have a lot of kind of back and forth with KNUST, and we'll definitely visit the ceramics area. And also they have a very lauded sculpture and painting program, which is quite known internationally, and last time at least we were able to get a presentation from them. So then moving further north from Kumasi, which I should say Accra is like in a kind of a tropical coastal zone. You go north to Kumasi and it's very much like tropical rainforest. And if you keep going north, the landscape starts to change and it becomes a little more arid, a little more, not like full on desert, but a little less lush. And the culture also starts to change because as you go north, there's a greater presence of Islam. So it kind of, you can observe both the flora and fauna change and also the culture in a way. And so this is a center that I think, I'm not sure when it was open, 2016 maybe or something.
Yeah.
And I've never actually been there. When I was in this part of Ghana, it was before this Red Clay Art Center was open, and it's kind of the brain trust of Ibrahim Mahama, who's a very well-known multimedia sculptor who is part of the KNUST, the university kind of circle, and he does huge projects all over the world, but he opened this art center that I think is both a working space, an exhibition space, and a kind of a place for cultural sharing and interaction with the community and things like that. So we've never been there, but we're really looking forward to it. And Janine, it knows Ibrahim, so it's kind of an amazing opportunity. So that is our main destination in Tamale. And then we probably don't have any slides of this because, so Tamale will be new this year, as well as this next place, which I'll just describe to you. It's a national park called Mole, and it's kind of the only place in Ghana where you can get a taste of the kind of savanna-like experience with safari and animals and stuff like that. It's not the same thing for sure as the East African plains, but you'll definitely see elephants. If you're unfortunate, you will see a baboon and hope that it doesn't see you. And it gives a taste of that for sure, and it's kind of amazing. So we figured if we were up that part of the country, we should include that. So we don't have all of the fine tuning of the schedule done yet, but we'll kind of work our way north and then fly back south back to Accra, and wrap things up with a couple of days down there. I think that's the broad plan right now. Sorry about my screen. Ever since whenever they plugged the typewriters into the television sets, my life has been downhill since then. So
you're all good. All good. All right. Thank you so much, Adam and Janine. Any questions from the group about the intercession in Ghana in 2025?
Well, I guess one thing, excuse me, we could mention is that we're going to have a more, correct me if I'm wrong, we're planning to have a more in-depth, dedicated meeting for people interested to go into a little more detail. That's still true, right? Okay. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. And I'm going to be sharing some more information at the very end of the presentation about that very thing. Yes, Marlon, I see you are unmuted.
Yes. I looked up some pictures of Ghana. Did you all get to stay in some of the traditional housing that's there any of the days?
No, that's a good question. Jeannie, do you want to take this or?
No, I think that's a question for you.
I mean, it's kind of tough because we're just moving really fast. I guess that's maybe one thing that we should mention about the trip is that it isn't a deal where we kind of like set up shop and kind of make things in one place for a long time. We're kind of on the move constantly. And we work with an organization over there that helps set up some of the logistics of travel and housing and that stuff. So last time we pretty much just used standard hotels, that's hotels that would not seem, remarkable in any kind of way. I mean, they're nice. Janine and I were kind of considering not moving drastically away from that, but maybe considering there's a couple, at least in Accra, there's a place or two that's more like a international hostel that I think has a little more character than the regular old Western style hotels. But in terms of like a village stay or something like that, I think it's beyond the capacity of this trip being so short. I will say though, and the details of this are also not fully, figured out yet, but I have a close friend who lives sort of in between Accra and Kumasi in, a village, and he's a hereditary herbalist and traditional priest. So he kind of lives in this, surrounded by all of these plants that he uses in, for medicinal and spiritual purposes and stuff. And I'm hoping that we can kind of spend an afternoon or a couple hours there, and to get to his kind of compound. You definitely have, you will get a sense of village life through this trip for sure, one way or another, but probably not actually staying in a village, if that makes sense.
I'll just add too that because it's a shorter trip, it's compact and our days are pretty full. So we're not spending a lot of time at the hotel while it is.
Thank you. Great question, Marlon. Other questions from the group?
I'll just add one comment, and that is that Adam and I were able to connect with Ibrahim Mahama, and it looks like we're going to overlap. It could change, but I think we're both very excited about that because he is all over. You know, he has exhibitions all around the world, but he's planning on staying put in May. So that could be a really wonderful opportunity for us.
Sounds wonderful. All right. If there aren't any other questions at this point, I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, from current slide. Okay. And so the Ghana, in order to apply for scholarship funding to attend Ghana, it's going to be that same application on Slide Room, that summer travel opportunities application. And for Rome, I didn't share the application dates for scholarships and the trip, but just know that the scholarship and application dates for both Rome and Ghana are exactly the same. So on December the 1st, that's the deadline for the School of Art scholarship application on Slide Room. The program application on the Study Abroad Office website is due on February the 1st. And then February the 15th is the deadline for Study Abroad Office scholarships. So, and I know Katie is going to be up next sharing more information about our study abroad office scholarships. So I will. Okay, Katie, I've got your slides pulled up. You're welcome to take it away.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Kim. And yeah, thanks everyone for joining to learn about travel and study abroad. So scholarships through study abroad, I'll talk about several different scholarship opportunities that you can apply for and several through additional departments as well. But I want to start first though, just by explaining a little bit about financial aid and scholarship funding in general too. So when you study abroad at the U of A, obviously you're taking courses and enrolled in course credit tied to your study abroad program. So that means that federal financial aid, as well as any other existing scholarship funding that you have, can be used for a study abroad in that same term. So if you receive a federal Pell Grant or any federal loans, you can use that funding for study abroad. So I want to make sure and mention that first. And then, of course, apply for more study abroad funding. So there are several scholarships through the Hogs Abroad portal. That's the same portal where you apply for study abroad opportunities for the Rome program and the Ghana program, and other opportunities too that the U of A is affiliated with. So you can also apply for study abroad scholarships, and you can start working on these applications whenever you are ready and whenever you have kind of decided which program you'd like to apply for, because you don't have to wait to be approved for a program in order to apply for scholarships. You can go ahead and start working on them. So there's 3 main scholarship applications in Hogs Abroad. The first is the Office of Study Abroad Scholarship for funding that's available specifically through the Office of Study Abroad. That scholarship is open. I would say most students who are applying for study abroad opportunities are eligible for the Office of Study Abroad Scholarship, which means that there's a ton of applicants. So the number of students who can be awarded in any specific application cycle varies a little bit year to year, depending on how many students apply. But the minimum eligibility requirements are a 3.0 GPA, and that you're participating in a program that earns credit, of course. Preference for the Office of Study Abroad Scholarship is given to students who haven't already received a lot of funding from other resources, and first-time travelers. So if you are a first-time traveler, I absolutely encourage you to apply for the Office of Study Abroad Scholarship. There's another application that includes several other study abroad scholarships from other departments. So it's kind of one big application that helps you apply for several. And once you start the application, you'll see it looks like there's like 20, 25 questions, but really it's helping you automatically apply for any scholarships within that one kind of gateway application. So it includes the Honors College Study Abroad grant if you are enrolled in honors and an undergraduate student. It also includes several departmental scholarships within Fulbright College. So the Fulbright Honors Sturgis Grant. There is a endowed scholarship called the J. William and Elizabeth W. Fulbright Scholarship that is specifically for students who would be applying for a full academic year program. There is the Cleveland C. Burton Undergraduate Fellowship in International Studies, and that isn't only for international studies majors. It's for any student in a Fulbright College degree program, undergraduate student who has sophomore standing and does not already hold a large fellowship. If you have if you are also majoring or have a double major in African and African American studies, the African and African American Studies program does have a scholarship as well in that portal. The World Languages, Literatures, and Cultures Department for students who are also studying a language. The Middle Eastern Studies Department has funding for undergraduate students with a major in Middle Eastern Studies or a double major. And there's also the Stokely McAdoo Family Scholarship, and that's for students who are a history major. So if you do have a double major in another area, you may be eligible for one of those scholarships as well. That same scholarship application also includes a scholarship through Student Affairs called the Janetta Cross Brazil Study Abroad Scholarship. And that scholarship specifically seeks to support students who have demonstrated financial need. So it asks for some information from FAFSA, but also specifically seeks to support students who are first generation college students or who have racial or ethnic minority identity. The third application in Hogs Abroad is and I should mention too, I just listed Fulbright College departments within this application. However, if you do have a double major in business as well, some folks might also be studying business or other areas. Every other college on campus has a scholarship within that same application too. So that's that I mentioned. It's got looks like 20 different questions, but really it's helping you just apply for whichever of these you may be eligible for. Okay, so then the third application is the Sturgis International Fellowship. And that is for students who are either an undergraduate student with in the honors program within Fulbright College or a graduate student in Fulbright College. And Adam, I see your question. Are these strictly undergraduate fellowships? Great question. So the Office of Study Abroad Scholarship is open to graduate students, absolutely. And then the Sturgis International Fellowship is open to graduate students as well. The other piece about the Sturgis International Fellowship is that scholarship is specifically designed to support longer term study abroad. So for programs lasting between 3 months to a full academic year. So some folks who might be proposing an independent research or internship or something like that that's longer term, check out the Sturgis International Fellowship. That award is quite substantial. It awards up to $15,000, and it can really significantly make an impact in a longer term study abroad experience. So most of these scholarships, the deadline is February 1st. A few of them do have some earlier priority deadlines, but definitely check the website. You'll see application deadlines outlined on the application page. So those are scholarships through Hogs Abroad, but I also wanted to mention a few more. So on my next slide, I just call out a few more resources. Of course, you know there's funding available through the School of Art that you should apply for, but I also want to highlight Student Affairs also has a scholarship called the Career Connections Unpaid Internship Scholarship. So for folks who are proposing an internship, anywhere, and it lists specifically on the application, it says located in Washington, D.C. or elsewhere where additional living expenses may apply. And certainly an internship abroad is elsewhere where additional living expenses may apply. So for students who are planning to apply for an internship, I'd encourage you to take a look at that one as well. That has a separate application outside of Hogs Abroad, but if you search on the Student Affairs website and the scholarship links, and I can send these links as well, then you'll see their application. Additionally, one more I wanted to mention, if folks do also perhaps study political science, the political science department also has a study abroad scholarship, but they just use a paper form. But again, it's on their departmental website and it can support study and internship abroad programs. So those are scholarships through U of A departments for study abroad. But then there's also resources that you should look into outside of the U of A. So the Benjamin A. Gilman International Scholarship Program is a scholarship that's funded by the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs within the U.S. Department of State. And that is a scholarship that specifically supports students receiving a federal Pell Grant. So if you do receive a Pell Grant, I highly encourage you to take a look at the Gilman Scholarship and come chat with me. I'm actually an advisor ambassador for the Gilman Scholarship Program and have been advising students applying for the Gilman program for several years, and am happy to chat with you about the application and the essays. Just some quick eligibility requirements you see on the screen. It's for students who are a U.S. citizen or national, again, receiving a federal Pell Grant, and they award about 3,000 scholarships each year. And they award up to $5,000 to be used towards expenses for a study abroad program. They do also have a few optional supplemental awards that they've introduced. So there's the Critical Need Language Award. So for students who would be studying in addition to their content while abroad, if students are studying a critical need language, and those are determined by the Department of State. There's a list of 15 on their website, but a few examples are Arabic, Russian, Urdu, Punjabi, Hindi, Chinese, Japanese. So for folks who are studying a critical need language, they can apply for an additional supplemental award of up to $3,000. They also have a supplemental award for students who are doing STEM-related research. So again, for some folks who may have double majors outside of the School of Art and would be conducting STEM-related research as part of their program, they can be considered for up to an additional $1,000 award from the Gilman Scholarship.
Hey, Katie.
Then there are a few more. Yes, go ahead.
Really quickly, and apologies if you've already mentioned this, but what is the length of time requirement in order to apply for the Gilman International?
Yes, I'm glad you asked, because there's not a minimum length requirement for the Gilman Scholarship. There used to be a minimum length requirement, but there no longer is. So for any study abroad program, even a shorter intercession term, and up to a full academic year, there's a time limit, but no minimum time frame. Excellent.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
I know. It's fantastic opportunity.
Wow.
Wonderful. So in addition to the Gilman Scholarship, there's a few more that I want to highlight. So on my next slide, I want to call out also the Gilman McCain Scholarship. So that scholarship is within the same framework as the Gilman Scholarship. It's the same application, but it's just a specific scholarship with two very slightly different eligibility requirements. The different eligibility requirements are, in addition to, or rather than only open to students receiving a federal Pell Grant, it's open to students who are receiving any type of Title IV federal financial aid. So that includes several things, such as the Perkins loan and federal direct loans and a few others. So any type of Title IV federal financial aid, and who are dependents, either child or spouse dependents of active U.S. military service personnel. So the Gilman McCain Scholarship awards about 100 of these each academic year, and it's a $5,000 award. Then there are a few other that I'd like to highlight. The Fund for Education Abroad is a privately funded study abroad scholarship that includes several different awards. So just like that application that I mentioned earlier in Hogs Abroad that includes a ton of different awards on our campus, the Fund for Education Abroad is one application that includes several scholarships from various funding sources. But just to highlight a few, there are a few named scholarships within Fund for Education Abroad called Rainbow Scholarships for folks who identify as LGBTQI. There are a few place-based scholarships, such as study in Greece or Denmark or UK, and a few others, and even more under the Fund for Education Abroad as well. The Fund for Education Abroad also specifically seeks to support students who are first-generation college students or who completed coursework at a community college prior to transferring into the University of Arkansas. So several excellent funding resources under the Fund for Education Abroad. There are also several others linked from the Study Abroad website, the Hispanic Scholarship Fund, and several other links on that site to check out too. So in addition to the incredible funding resources we have on our campus here, there are other resources that I encourage you to look into outside the U of A as well. So I think on my next slide, I just have my contact information. Oh, no, I have one more. Okay, great. A few more that I wanted to highlight. So we've talked about the incredible opportunities through our faculty-led programs that are available through the U of A. And then we've also got some programs we're affiliated with. So there are programs that students have participated on in the past, studying art history or studio arts areas as well through a U of A affiliated program. And each of those programs has their own scholarships, but some of them also have some automatic discounts for U of A students or other need-based grants or grants that are specifically supporting students who are first gen or who apply for the Gilman Scholarship or who receive the Gilman Scholarship, et cetera. So this is very tiny print on this screen, but we'll send it out afterwards too. But I did want to highlight some other resources through U of A affiliated programs as well. And especially for some of those longer term semester opportunities, some of which you may find a program through an affiliated provider. I want to make sure you're aware of those resources too. Okay, so then really my last slide, I just highlighted it's my appointment scheduler. So you can search for me in UA Success, or if you scan this QR code, it'll take you to my UA Success to schedule an appointment with me. You are absolutely more than welcome to come chat with me. I have appointments available online as well. So if coming up to Old Main is difficult for your schedule, I am more than happy to meet with folks virtually. So you can schedule a time to chat with me about scholarships, about study abroad, any questions that you might have.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Katie. Any questions from the group for Katie? And if you have a question, if you'll just unmute yourself. Okay. Well, we've got Katie's contact information there and a way to schedule an advising meeting with her. So just know that that is available, and Katie's an incredible resource. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, I've got a couple more slides before we wrap up. Oh, hold up. There we go. So we've got a few more events for study abroad and summer travel opportunities, specifically for the School of Arts that are coming up. Later this month, we have the School of Art Mini Study Abroad Fair on Wednesday, October the 30th from 10:30 to 12:30 p.m. in the Studio and Design Center lobby. You don't have to register for that. Just feel free to drop in anytime between those two times. And it's a great opportunity to meet the professors that are going to be teaching in Rome and Ghana this summer, chat with me about other self-initiated opportunities that you can apply for, and check in with Katie about additional information about study abroad, office, and beyond scholarship opportunities. And there will be snacks, which is always nice. Okay, and then next, we've also got, as we mentioned previously, there will be additional info sessions that do a deeper dive into each of our faculty-led study abroad opportunities for this summer. So for Ghana, there's going to be an info session coming up very soon on October the 9th from 3 to 4 p.m. in the Studio and Design Center, room 218. You don't have to register for this one either. You are welcome to join, and please feel free to bring any questions that you have related to Ghana. Janine and Adam will be there to provide additional information and to answer those questions for you. And then for Rome, there's also going to be a deeper dive info session on Monday, November the 4th from 4 to 5 p.m. in the Studio and Design Center main lobby. And there's no registration required for that one either. So I believe that might be the last slide. Let me just double check. Oh, that is. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Excellent. So thank you all so much again for joining. Thank you to my colleagues for presenting. We appreciate y'all being here. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Also look out for an email from me. I'll be sending an email out to both the undergrad and the graduate listservs for the School of Art with a link to this training, not training, a link to this presentation, as well as a copy of the presentation with links included that you can click on, and it will take you directly to information. And yeah, if you have any other questions, send me an email or stop by during my office hours on Fridays from 9 to 12 in the Studio and Design Center lobby. Any final questions?
Thank you, Kim and Katie.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you all.
All right. Everyone take care and have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you.